Hello, world. This is America's Supermom, and this is a special edition that I call the Corona Chronicles. During this time, we are suffering from a pandemic that is affecting everyone across the world. We are joined with the rules and regulations of being shelter in place, which means we are limited with the ability to go about our daily business, confined to our homes based on a coronavirus that has been sweeping the entire world. For some people, the effects could be mild. For others, it can be fatal. So we are coming together as a community, as a family during this time of difficulty to share what it is like in our part of the world, how we are affected, and the things that we have in common, what kind of problems that are taking place in our industries and in our relationships and finances, and coming together so that we can plan for a better tomorrow. As this epidemic or pandemic crosses the world, we are waiting for relief. We're waiting for the virus to die off and for us to go back to some state of normalcy, whatever that may be, after things kind of settle down. So what is that going to look like once the dust settles? How are things going to be different? So as we go through this process, we're coming together as a world to create ideas, strategies, connect in ways that we have never connected before. So that is the purpose of the special podcast that I call the Corona Chronicles, so that we can get some insight and have empathy and compassion on one another, create new innovative ideas that can not only improve our life, but our fellow brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to thank you guys for listening today. I'm really excited about my next guest. Alberto is here, and he is actually across the world. So we were able to connect through, I think it was LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure that's how we got connected. And we were able to have a Zoom call. And, one of the things I enjoy about conversating with him is that we enjoy different books. So we're able to kind of give each other titles. And, I'm a bookaholic, and I collect them more than I can actually have time to read them. But it's always good to have those goals, so they're around me all the time. But at this time, I'm going to go ahead and let Alberto introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about who he is and what he has going on right now.
Well, hello, Lachelle, and everybody else, and thank you so much for having me today. And you're right, we connected through social media, and as things happens many times, you don't know how or why, but it all works well. It's all good. And and certainly a bit of a bookaholic too. I always have two or three books by my bedside, so that's I think a very important thing, especially in these days, in these times, is to make a good use of the time that we have available. And reading books is a very good use of your time. It's a way to I don't know, keep yourself entertained, learn new skills, and open yourself to new ideas. And that is one of the most important parts, to always be open to new ideas, to new ventures, to new roads. Because change in life is it's going to happen, and the more open that you are, the easier for you it will be to navigate the world around you. And about me and about navigating the world, I'm originally from Spain, and I ended up in Australia, and I still look at it as how did this happen? What brought me here? And it's it's a very strange thing. It's a very one of these things that I did out of a whim, out of I don't know,
Mm.
intuition, you could call it, or
Mhm. Mhm.
because I was back then I was doing fairly well. I was I think my late 20s or just turned 30, and yeah, everything was
Mhm.
going well with me. I had a decent job. I was making enough money. I had my own house. I had another property that I purchased to create some revenue, and
Mhm.
and I don't know. I met this lady, and suddenly everything went upside down. And yeah, I don't know. 2 months later, I just was here in Australia visiting, and a few months after that, I just decided, okay, I'm moving, just like that. No much. It was one of those decisions that you know when you are into a junction and you have one of these
Mhm.
things that
Mhm.
you say to yourself, if I don't do it, I'll regret it all my life. Um,
Wow.
and I didn't know why, but well, somehow I ended up here, and I ended up with her. And well, until
Mhm.
today, it's all going well. She's still coping with me, so I guess it was the right choice, and it was the right choice. Yes,
That is so
but
awesome. Yeah.
sometimes
So.
we do things without really thinking that much, and they turn out to be the right decision.
Mhm.
And well,
That's
yeah, it
awesome.
is. It is. It's very
Mhm.
special to me, and well,
Mhm.
what I have to say is actually a lot harder than what I thought it would be, because I came here not
Mm.
understanding, barely being able to speak the language, and
Okay.
barely able to understand anybody. And it was a very hard process, because
Mm.
I don't know if you ever try to learn another language, but when you're in the early stages, everything has to process through your mind, and you have to translate it into your own
Mm.
mother tongue, and then bring back the answer in your mother tongue, and then translate it into the other language. So yeah, by the time you're done doing that, everybody's already gone having dinner. So it was really really hard.
Mm.
But well,
Mhm.
eventually, I managed to be able to speak it fairly decently, and out of necessity, really, I started learning what I ended up doing. And that, like everything
Mhm.
else, it's a
Mhm.
process, and a trial and
Mhm.
error, and a lot of will to want to do something. And that's something that's
Mhm.
really really
Mhm.
important in everything that we want to do in our lives. You need to have that desire, that want, uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's and belief. Above all, belief. You need to believe, and it's one
Mhm.
of the things that I
Mhm.
talk even today to the people I teach, and it seems strange because of the world that it's involved in, which is financial. Is that belief is very important, and it sounds a bit shocking, but
Mhm.
it is, because unless you believe that you're following a process that will take you to the goal that you want, you will never get there. So belief is very important in whatever we do in our lives.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, there I was, just armed with my bad English and a lot of will and want to and desire and believe. And yeah, it took a while. But eventually
Mhm.
I managed to get around things and to learn properly what I was doing, and well, that eventually led me to create a business, showing people what I do, and teaching them how to do it in the same way that I'm doing it. And yeah, that gives me lots of joy. And well, I,
Mhm.
I like to think that the people that are around me, they also get a lot of joy from it.
That is awesome. Now, so this is good. So, because right now we have a lot of people who have a lot of
Yeah.
time on their hands and, their jobs are being changed or eliminated. So, I was just talking to my daughter earlier, and she's 19, and, we have a desire to learn another
Yeah.
language. So, knowing what you experience, what are some tips that you could tell somebody to begin to kind of take this time that they have to reflect or whatever and learn another language? What would be some key things that they can kind of start with in order to build that
Sure.
skill?
Well, the first thing is that we are all a bit different, and it might work
Mhm.
differently for everybody. But the things that I
Okay.
did, the places where I got most of my vocabulary, have a was
Mhm.
it was books. All right. What I started doing is I started reading
Mhm.
books in English that I've already read in Spanish. So in that way, I already knew the story,
Oh, okay.
so I got to enjoy it in a
Mhm.
different way, and a lot of the words started becoming familiar. So I got a lot of vocabulary from that. You can
Mm.
also start watching movies with the
Mhm.
subtitles, so you can start getting a little bit of an idea of what it is.
Mm.
But the
Mhm.
most important thing at the end of the day is to actually get involved and get to use it. It's a matter of
Mhm.
really of practicing, getting to if you want to learn, I don't know, whichever language it is that you want to learn, French, you need to actually get involved in a community that they are speaking that language. Because otherwise, if you don't use it, you don't really get to understand it.
Mm.
And I think if
Mhm.
something we're learning these days is that everything is possible without having to actually travel. I am pretty sure that you can find groups that could be doing that online. Maybe just get involved with that. But
Mm.
yeah, the
Mhm.
first thing that you need, I think, is a bit
Mhm.
of vocabulary and how the language is used. And I'm pretty sure I still use English in a bit
Mhm.
of a funny way sometimes. I probably put my words a little bit
Mhm.
over the place. But yeah, the way that I
Mhm.
gained my vocabulary was just reading, which is which is a great way to learn
I
not just the
see.
language, but new things. Because eventually you get courageous and you start reading books that you never read before and say, "Hey, I can understand this. This is great." And and then we go
Mm.
back to that
Mhm.
thing you were saying at the beginning. You just have a book by your bedside because that's a very good friend to have.
I love that. Now, so this is good. Now, so what about if you want to do phrases and stuff? Because I told her, I said, I really would like to do a Facebook Live in another language. So would you like practice these phrases? Like how you can do Google Translate. Are those accurate for, putting phrases in, or
Oh,
what would you say to that?
I don't know how Google Translate how accurate it is. I think it tends to be quite funny the way it translates. Uh,
Oh,
I think I will suggest
well,
the
that's
same.
good to
Get
know.
involved with a group, with a conversation group if there's any. Because Google's gonna translate the
Okay.
phrases very funny, in a very funny way. And yeah,
Okay.
I got this phone app too
Okay.
for my daughter some time ago that you could learn languages, and I don't know how the rest are, but obviously I do know my mother tongue, and it was pretty funny the way in which it was pronounced and constructed. So it's all very good in theory, but
Okay.
I think you need to get connected with people that actually speak the
Well,
language, and yeah, because
that's
otherwise,
good.
otherwise you'll be doing your
That's
Facebook Live, and people will be having a great time, but probably for the wrong reason.
no. That
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
something I would do, okay? I can blame it on my kids. Hey guys, now I do have 15 children,
yeah.
okay? So give me a little slack. No, but that's good to know. You're right because that's what a lot of us think that we could do. So that's outstanding to be able to understand that. Now, going back to making this move, to another country and the things that you had to endure with learning another language. So, backing up to that point to where you decided to make that move. A lot of people kind of feel that pull or urge to do something, but what was it that was just the one thing that you felt that just kind of gave you the courage to do
Oh,
that?
well, at the beginning, I wasn't even thinking about that. I came here with a lot of fire and a lot of, I'm gonna take on everything and make everything work, and
Mhm.
then you just get confronted by reality. It's like, oh man, it's just not as easy as I thought it would be. I
Mm.
can talk, I can make myself understood.
Mhm.
People are looking at me in a funny way. I remember going to job interviews and they were
Mhm.
looking at me like I was a cockroach because I had this really funny accent, and I kind of stand out a little bit because and it was a little, well, it was very very disappointing and very, I don't know, soul destroying really. So
Yeah.
it's a there was a point where I was actually feeling very very down, very low, because nothing was
Mhm.
working, and I was used
Mhm.
to, I used to be this, a stereotypical male full of energy and quite a bit of ego, and quite a bit of pride, and yeah,
Mhm.
I got battered in that respect.
Mhm.
And I guess
Mhm.
what gave me the courage is like, well, I came all the way here, and as much as I love what I was before,
Mhm.
I don't want to go back. I don't want to lose the little bit
Mhm.
that I'm creating here. I don't want to lose the love of this woman. I don't want to lose all
Mm.
the things that I was looking
Mhm.
forward to, and that's what gave me
Mhm.
the energy at the beginning. And then I got involved
Mhm.
in financial markets, and again, it's like everything we start. It looks like, oh, that's easy. I can do it, and
Mhm.
and then I got a second beating on my
Mhm.
ego. So yeah, I came to the point where I barely have any left because
Mm.
it's just kept getting beaten. So uh, and well, I just thought to myself, well, I know I can do this, and I have to find a way.
Right.
And probably at that point in time is
Mhm.
shortly after my daughter was born, and probably that was then the reason to keep going. Now
Mhm.
I not only have a beautiful wife, I had a
Mhm.
beautiful baby, and I got to make things happen.
Mhm.
And well, it still it takes you
Mhm.
some time, it takes you some hard lessons to learn. It takes you to fail many times, until the
Mhm.
little light bulb lights on and say, this is the way. This is
Right.
how I can make this happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's always, I think, having an anchor is really really important. Finding yourself something to hold on
Mhm.
to give
Mhm.
you a reason to keep going. It's very
Mhm.
very important. And then there's
Mhm.
another thing, and this is a lesson my father taught me when I was 11, and it's something that I always had in my mind ever
Mhm.
since. And if it's okay to tell a little story, back then I was riding competitive
Mhm.
cycling, and I was training doing these laps around this little circuit, and I was trying to beat the time of the guys that were the best
Mhm.
at the place where I was training, at the club where I was training. I wasn't even near. Like it didn't matter
Mhm.
how hard I tried. I wasn't even near, and I was like 2 seconds away. And oh my gosh! So I was so tired, and
Mhm.
I said, "Dad, I want to go home. I want to go home. I can't keep going. I'm so tired." Uh, so he came to me and say, "Yeah, I know you're tired. I said, I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter how tired you are, how much your legs are hurting, how much your heart is aching. You can always go one more lap. You always have one more lap in you. Now go out there and give me the best that you have."
Mm.
I say, okay. So now I went out there, and I was tired as like an old dog, and off I went. I gave all that I had, and when I came back, he stopped the clock and he told me I was 3 seconds better than the rest of the guys. I said, wow. I asked him when I asked him many years later, like I think the last time he came over to Australia. I've always been thinking about that. Did you actually stop the clock early? I say, no, man, I will never lie to you. You actually did the. He remembered too. And well, I use that thing throughout my life. Whenever I've been tired, whenever I've been about to, I'll say, stuff it all. I just giving up. I've always remembered that you can always go one more lap. Always, there's always a little bit more of fight in you, a little bit more that you can give, a little bit more juice that you can extract from yourself. So yeah, it was the two ladies and that probably what kept me going. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, that is so good. And so, what are some things that you also like had to do in your routine? Because um, you didn't have anybody really that you could relate to in terms of the language barrier and things like that. So, um, this process is probably some there's somebody out here who's going through that, and it may not look like learning a different language, but it's like, they could be a single mom, or maybe they are dealing with being at home with the children and their spouse could be in the hospital, or dealing with this pandemic. There's so many different variables that people are experiencing that are
Yeah.
definitely life changing. So somebody who's kind of at that point where it's like, man, I'm not trying to give up, but what are some things that you had to kind of do to give you the focus on those anchors and those moments
Yeah.
of to keep
Well, the
going
first thing
on?
that I want to say to everybody is look at the mirror. You are incredibly
Mhm.
powerful. You have much more in you that you can imagine,
Mhm.
and whatever it is that you're
Mhm.
going, you can get through it.
Mhm.
We all
Mhm.
tend to underestimate ourselves. We all tend to be very hard on ourselves.
Mhm.
And I will say that look after yourself.
Mhm.
Understand that the person you are is a wonderful person, that you have a lot of power within yourself to do what you want to do. And now there are points
Mhm.
in time where we cannot avoid feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling like it's too much.
Mhm.
And uh, I will say reach out and try and connect, because there are always people that are willing to help you, to lend you a hand. And I
Mhm.
don't know how the
Mhm.
situation is there, but in here is, well, kind of not
Mhm.
normal, but you can see that there's a lot more communion between people. What that tells me, all right, is that when we're
Mhm.
going on about our daily lives, we all seem to be a bit disconnected. But when something like
Mhm.
this happens, you can see that people,
Mhm.
in general, they're willing to help. They're willing to lend a hand. There's a lot of very good people out there,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of very good people that will be
Mhm.
willing to help you. So that's one thing that I would like to tell to everybody. Don't
Mhm.
don't be ashamed of asking for help. Don't feel that asking for help is a bad thing. Uh,
Mhm.
ask for it if you need
Mhm.
it. Um, if you have
Mhm.
family, as your family. If you have neighbors, as your neighbors. If you don't have anybody around you, uh, you can find it online. There's
Right.
plenty of I don't know. You can access Facebook groups. There'll
Mhm.
be a lot of people willing to help you. Like
Mhm.
right now, I'm involved in a group
Mhm.
uh, of men that we all meet in a weekly basis just to support each other, because some people are doing it very tough, and there's always going to be
Mhm.
somebody needing a hand
Mhm.
and somebody willing to give that hand. And so just
Mhm.
reach out, because there are communities, there are
Mhm.
groups, there are even individuals that are always willing to help. People in general, they had
Mhm.
all a very good core, and
Mhm.
all they need is a little spark to trigger that core and come to
Mhm.
help you. Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. Mhm. Very good points. Because, that's one of the things that, I'm sure when we go through things, we kind of have that mindset that nobody understands. We're going through this alone. But the minute that you're able to ask for help, you recognize, wow,
Absolutely,
there's so many
absolutely.
people like
And,
me
and
out
yeah,
there
we all
that
have,
are
and this is
experiencing
something
the
that
same
we need
thing.
to be very
Mhm.
careful with, is the conversation in our head, because we are really mean to ourselves.
Mm.
That nobody's gonna like my accent, nobody's gonna like the way I speak,
Mhm.
nobody's gonna like the way I do things. We keep telling these things to us, should I have spinach in my teeth, stuff like that.
Mhm.
We keep putting ourselves down, and then the thing, when we finally break that barrier and go
Right.
out there and talk to people, and they say, hey, you're a nice guy or you're a nice
Mhm.
girl. So
Mhm.
it's a lot what's inside our head. So we need to tone
Mhm.
down that negative voice, because
Mhm.
uh, it's it's a liar. It's a liar. Just look at the mirror and tell to yourself,
Mhm.
you are wonderful and you can do this.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that.
It is.
That the negative voice
It
is a
is.
liar. This is
And
so
I
true.
used to have a lot of issue with my
Yes.
accent, because I speak in public whenever somebody lets me.
Mhm.
And at the beginning, it was really
Mhm.
a bit nerve wracking, because I kept being very very self conscious about the accent when I speak, which is pretty obvious. And then I came to the realization and say, well,
Mm.
it's not a
Mhm.
problem, it's an asset. It makes me a little bit different. It gives it a bit of uh, it gives it something unique in some way.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you start seeing things on a bit of a brighter light,
Mhm.
everything's a lot easier. And then you say, yes, I can do this.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, in the early days, you probably had called me to do this. I would have said,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, uh, what are people gonna think when I speak? And well, some people will think that I speak funny, and that's great. And some people will think, well, it sounds all right. It
Exactly.
sounds kind of cute, so that's all right. Uh, all that matters is that you're comfortable with it, and that you understand that you can do much more than what you give yourself credit for.
I see. Yeah, that is so true. And, a lot of times the things that we are concerned about, we find later that people don't even notice. So like if I'm doing a video and I'll say, "Oh, I did this," and they're like, most people don't even notice that you
Yeah,
did that or forgot to say something or whatever. So we kind of have this dialogue in our minds, as if everybody has the all that information, and so, we're concerned about certain
yeah,
things that other people don't even
yeah,
pay attention to. So that is a good point to bring that up. So great tips. I love the whole thing about recognizing this negative voice. Now, so what do you do now, like as a part of your daily routine that, helps you to continue to stay
yeah.
grounded, in terms of
The
keeping that
routine's
negative
been quite
voice at bay?
quite changed as of late, like for everybody else. So it's a bit out of whack. But yeah, I try to
Yes.
keep everything as normal as possible. I still do um, most of the same things that I do on a regular basis. I like to get up very early in the morning, and that's because
Mhm.
I work
Mhm.
with the stock market that you have over there. So I either have to go to bed very late or get up very early. I'm going to bed
Mm.
very late. You don't want to meet me next morning. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm not in any mood to speak. So yeah, I get up fairly early, and then
Mhm.
I check out what I need to do. If I need
Mhm.
to um, place a new market order, or if I need to take some money out, or whatever it is. And then I do a little bit of meditation after I finish doing that, because I like to quieten my mind, and it's a very good
Mhm.
time to do it, because
Mhm.
nobody's around,
Mhm.
everybody's still asleep, everything's quiet. So I still like to do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And well, and then my
Mhm.
little girl gets up. I get coffee to my wife, so she has coffee in bed, and make the breakfast for the baby. Well, not a baby anymore, but you know that she'll always be.
Mm-hmm.
And we take the dog for a walk, and then come back and prepare some content for my material, or prepare a class, or edit the videos that I recorded. I record what I do live, so I need to edit it and then tend to other things. We have some other things going on that, like everybody, we need to look after. We got some property we need to look after, and then I try to keep as much time as possible to spend with my family and doing stuff that is interesting to me, or fulfilling to them. And well, now try not to get too crazy with the fact that we cannot really move around that much. But just getting involved also. What I'm doing now is getting involved in groups like the one I mentioned before. So we reach out a little bit. We help each other. It's just keeping my mind busy doing something. It's something constantly going on, and when I have time and that there's nothing else to do, well, I sit down and I start reading a bit, or just trying to keep the brain active in whatever we do. But fortunately, we had a lot of time that we can have conversations like this one, that I can have the classes that I give to my students, and the groups that I'm involved with, and well, it just the days goes past and I don't even notice. It's very good. It's even in these days. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can extract out of your day. We've been wanting, in our case, we've been wanting to get our garden done for, I don't know, for years. And well, at least we found in the time to get that sorted. So it's a bit of, okay, what can we do? All right, let's do this. Let's just clean this of weeds, and it's constantly finding something to do. But the routine is a little bit broken. Okay, it does. Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Hey, I feel you on that. Okay, that's true. Now, great. So this has just been a great dialogue conversation, some great nuggets that you have shared, some very good wisdom for people who are going through some challenging times right now. So we are going to wrap it up with maybe a couple of your favorite books, maybe that we could share, that they could possibly, reflect on and possibly read during this time.
There's a book that I don't know, probably half of the world has read it by now, and it's called The Alchemist. I loved it the first time I read it. I loved it even more the second time I read it, and I read it quite a few times. It's I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. I find that you get new things.
I said that's great. Yeah.
What happens is, let's say that you read something when you're 20, and then you read the same book when you're 30. You had a much different view on life, and you get a different understanding. You read the same book when you're 40, and say, "Wow, this makes sense now. I can really understand this now." So they have a bit of a different flavor. So the words are the same, but your understanding of the words is completely changed. And so that's a book I really loved it. The first time I read it, but the first time I read it was, oh, this is a nice adventure. And the last time I read it, I say, well, this is really, really deep. And this is actually the meaning of life. I love the book.
Okay.
And the other book I really love, and this has to do with what I do, is and excuse me if I don't say it properly because it's hard for me to pronounce these words. It's called Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. It's the story of a stock market trader from the 1920s, and it's really I found it a very enjoyable
Okay.
read because, well,
Mhm.
it goes through the life of this person and how he approached things. And, well, it's really similar to the way that it is today.
Mhm.
But it's a little bit of history on it, and just a bit of a history. I love history.
Mm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
reading this book was giving me both things that I actually,
Mhm.
both of the, some things that I actually really really like, things that I love, which is history and is the financial market, and it gives you a lot of
That's good.
lessons if you can read them. There is also a little bit of history on how the world was working 100 years ago.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love those two. I really love them.
Yeah. That's good. And I love that element of, that's something that a lot of people can explore if they are changing industries, is going back and thinking of,
Yeah,
books that kind of coincide with that industry that they may be in from a historical perspective. That's how they can kind of, we give the millennials a bad name saying that they, want to do things quick. They don't understand the history of things, but that's a jump start by being able
the
to get a
background.
book that can kind of give you that,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
historic perspective. Yeah, and
yeah.
background. So that's a great thing to think about.
Oh, thank.
Well, we just want to say thank you so much for your time, Alberto. This has been a great conversation. I have really enjoyed
Well,
myself.
you
And
can
what's the best way for people to
contact
get a
me
hold
through
of you?
my website, which is nextgenoptions.com, or through Facebook at the same is Next Gen Options.
Mm-hmm.
And also, since we're here, if anybody wants, I'm happy to have a free conversation with them. They can just book a half an hour, and we can talk and see if I can help them in any way. I'll be happy to do that. That will be
Wow. w
www.nextgenoptions.com/free call. And yeah, we can have a conversation
Okay.
and see if there's any way I can
That is
help them
so
out.
awesome. Well,
And if
just
not, we'll have a good chat.
mm-hmm. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, we just really want to thank you for that generous offer. That's amazing. And a lot of people, I hope they take you up on that offer because, we have a lot of kind of
Yeah.
restructuring and things that people are doing on a personal level as well as professional. So this is a great benefit, a
Hmm.
great offer that you are
Absolutely.
giving everybody. So I really appreciate that. Well, we again just want to thank you, Alberto. I'm really glad that we were able to collaborate on this
Absolutely, as do I.
project,
Thank
and I
you
look
so much
forward
for
to
having
us
me. It's
connecting
been a
again
pleasure
soon.
and,
Okay.
and an honor to be here. And yeah, just as a last word, everybody, please keep safe, stay healthy, and have a little bit of fun as you can, which never hurts.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely.
Will do.
You are
Thank you,
absolutely
Lachelle.
right. Well, thanks again, and we'll be in touch
Bye bye.
soon. Okay. What a phenomenal interview with Alberto. I just love his courage to be able to be open to new roads, new adventures with traveling across the world, to make a new life in a place where he does not know the language and not just survive, but to thrive. The focus, clarity, perseverance. I mean, any of those traits is what comes to mind just listening to this interview. So I want to thank him for sharing those nuggets of wisdom with us. And I encourage you to reach out for that free phone call. That's just a blessing that he would offer that. So if you're interested in being a guest on the podcast, please email me at info@lachelleatkins.com. You could also reach out to me through Facebook, LinkedIn, Messenger, um, on each of those platforms. I'm also on Instagram, Pinterest, and I have a YouTube channel. So, as always, I encourage you to share this message with others. It may be a lifeline. With something that doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal for you could be game changing and life liberating for someone else. and it doesn't cost anything. It's free to simply share it, to include it in a post, or do a review. All these things can help make the world a better place. So thanks again for listening, and have a great day.